Top, top, top. Top, keep going, top, top right, top right, top right. Top right, bottom, bottom, bottom. Stop, reach! He's right to this! Look at police! Police!
Every day, across Britain, hundreds of raids take place in secret.
Some of the places we do go, their life choice is to be a criminal.
Filmed over 1 year, this series has gained exclusive access to some of the best raids teams in the UK. Catching crooks, red-handed.
They have to be prepared for whatever they find on the other side of those doors.
Got it.
Drugs, money, firearms.
Seizing illegal contraband.
It's just a sickening amount of wealth.
It's about strategy, surprise, getting results, and putting the criminals behind bars.
If you choose to live your life in this way, we will identify you and we will prosecute you.
Strike.
In the last 5 to 10 years, the Newport area in reality has become the centre for drug supply for the southwest. And we have been actively involved, at least for the last 4 years, in trying to make a dent in that.
Britain is facing a drugs epidemic. These officers are tasked with fighting it in South Wales.
I would estimate that about 90% of our time is taken up with tackling drug supply coming into South Wales from other areas of the UK.
Fatalities from illegal street drugs are at a record high.
Our efforts in the last 2 to 3 years really have been about trying to bring back a degree of control into the area of Newport around the large-scale supply of Class A drugs such as cocaine and heroin. That really has become an issue within that city. It's pervasive. It gets into every aspect of people's lives, from simple thefts to violent crime, and literally destroys communities.
After months of painstaking surveillance, officers are about to raid multiple properties linked to an organised crime network flooding the streets with Class A drugs.
We're talking about 5 or 6 well-established gangs across the South Wales area receiving large quantities of heroin on a weekly basis. Traditionally, gangs across the UK use couriers locally to distribute their drugs and collect their cash, who are unknown to the police. Clean skins, effectively. One of the males we've identified is from the Plymouth area, Raymond Lee, who we put under surveillance. Our plan is to follow the money and the drugs to map the network for us.
Surveillance reveals Raymond Lee is critical to the drugs network. He's the link between the major suppliers and the gangs distributing drugs on the streets.
Couriers like Raymond Lee don't come along very often. To have an individual that in effect maps out the whole organisation view, I've probably seen once or twice in my career. Raymond Lee is the keys to the warehouse. We've got this footage of Raymond Lee conducting numerous exchanges across the UK with money going in and drugs coming out. That in turn enables us to identify the individuals involved.
The huge scale of this drugs network is becoming clearer.
You're talking millions. You're talking people who are making millions of pounds, year in, year out, all on the back of other people's misery. Our ultimate objective is to tackle those at the highest end. What we will effectively be looking to arrest is every single individual at the head of those organised crime units.
If you see somebody, shout contact.
Inevitably, when you go through the door, there is that element of like, are they there, are they not?
Body cams on there.
Yeah. We're going to form up before we move on the address.
We get one opportunity to get the evidence that we need and to arrest the individuals that we need.
Knock your lights off.
Coming up, a team in Wolverhampton raids shops selling illegal tobacco.
That's counterfeit, and there was also some counterfeit in the gantry as well. You can't have it. It's illegal.
And the net closes in on the organised crime gangs making millions from Class A drugs.
Police! Police!
Strike, strike, strike. Strike, strike, strike.
All across Britain, hundreds of raids target fake goods and illegal contraband.
Illicit tobacco in Wolverhampton's been growing big time. Right, today, Operation Hurricane. There's allegations that there might be illicit tobacco stored on the premises there. All the police officers with us today will come with us to the shop. Again, it's because of intelligence that I received this morning. We think it's safer. It's part of organised crime, people smuggling, child exploitation, the smuggling in of arms. And I think when we're buying cheap cigarettes, we need to think, well, where is my money going?
Illicit tobacco costs the UK almost £2.5 billion in lost tax every year. Trading Standards officers carry out raids to try and stop these under-the-counter sales.
Majority of intelligence comes from the public. They phone us up on Crime Stoppers. Sometimes they come into the council themselves and they tell us this is happening.
Raids like this have resulted in millions of pounds of fines.
We have had people imprisoned as a result, and I think the steepest imprisonment was 26 months. Losing your freedom is quite a big thing.
There's quite a lot of stories at the back, isn't there?
Yeah, you go upstairs.
Today, their first target is a corner shop they've had complaints about.
I'll go and introduce myself. Hello, sir. Hello. Okay. Diane Slapp from Trading Standards. Yes, oh, right, okay. Where was that? Under the counter? What's been found is an oral tobacco. This tobacco has got none of the UK health warnings on there. It would be held between the jaw, the cheek and the gum, and it's carcinogenic. So that is banned. We've also got hand-rolling tobacco. It's in a foreign language. It's not in its plain packaging that it's got to be in now. And I have a suspicion that's counterfeit. We also have foreign tobacco from abroad. It doesn't have the UK health warnings on. That suggests to me that the correct duty hasn't been paid for it to come into this country. These cigarettes are what known as cheap whites. There's no standards to check, monitor the sort of heavy metals and stuff that are in there and the yield of the tar in them.
They seize the counterfeit tobacco and look for further evidence.
Just lift that out. Paul, got a notebook selling a load.
The notebook is a record of suspected illegal cigarette sales.
That's coming with me.
That's the complete package. We've got stuff here. We've got evidence that there's been sales taking place. So.
That's counterfeit.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh, you
counterfeit.
mean, it was here?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and there was also some counterfeit in the gantry as well.
In the back? Oh,
In the gantry.
yeah. 2 boxes, yeah?
Because of that, also, we found oral tobacco. That is banned because it's
Okay.
carcinogenic, dangerous. Because of that, we're going to seize it all.
Did you take the box I had as well?
Yes.
Oh, that was mine.
You can't have it. It's illegal.
How many bags do we have? 5.
Right. It was over 2,000 cigarettes all in all from that shop.
For Paul and Diane, this raid has gone to plan. Not all of them do.
We do have them shouting at us a lot and swearing. Usually when there's police officers there, they're a bit more careful.
The next shop owner is a familiar face.
Hello, sir. Trading standards. We've had more complaints about your shop selling illicit tobacco. We've got the search dog again, so we're going to go and search like we did last time, as you remember. And we've got a warrant to search the whole of the premises, including upstairs. Can we let the dog in then? The tobacco search dogs that we use are invaluable. The shopkeepers think they'll be distracted by the use of coffee grounds, curry powder, but the dogs usually find it.
1 packet and an open packet.
Singles. Right. Why have you got those?
It's for myself.
For yourself?
Yeah.
Thought we talked about not having these on the premises, didn't we? Last time I came in,
Yeah.
I said not to have these.
Cigarettes in a black bag. Right. Within boxes of crisps. Okay.
Okay.
The sniffer dog guides them to a small stash.
There's a small packet, but it's amongst other things, so that is a classic hide.
Hello, Chris. Do you want to go out the back?
The search is well underway when there's a development.
Hello? Okay, is she driven off? Okay, hang on then. Di,
Yeah.
the occupant of the red car has just got in the car.
Right, get the police now. Where's the police? Yeah, Mr. Manning.
A red car linked to the shop has been seen driving off.
What's the car? It's a red Corsa.
The team are worried the driver is heading to the shop owner's home address, where they suspect an even bigger consignment of illegal tobacco is hidden.
Let's go.
The property was due to be searched next.
We wanted to get there quickly. We wanted to search that car, see what was there, and I had suspicions that they would probably be taking the cigarettes out of the premises.
The team need to stop the car before any potential evidence can be destroyed. In South Wales, police continue to target an organised crime network supplying millions of pounds worth of drugs.
We always seek to cut off the head of the snake, because if you don't deal with those at the highest end of supply and only deal with those at the individuals at the bottom end, that supply will keep on coming.
One of the most critical elements of the operation is surveillance.
Picture paints 1,000 words. And when you have video evidence, it's absolutely golden and will do far more damage in court than any statement or any other observation that you will ever have. What in essence we are doing is following the couriers to lead us ultimately to those individuals who matter most, namely the heads of the organised crime gangs.
The team have identified one of the couriers, 52-year-old Raymond Lee, who drives this distinctive gold Astra. He becomes the key target of the police surveillance operation.
When you're dealing with couriers who are travelling sometimes hundreds of miles, working 15, 16-hour days, is an enormous problem for us. Small errors can have a devastating impact on the inquiry. So the pressures on individuals, on the team, on myself, are substantial.
The covert operation is getting results.
The weeks and months of effort are paying off because Raymond is now identifying the network to us. And more importantly, he's enabling us to gather substantial evidence against all these individuals, which will prove crucial later on down the line. Eventually, Raymond takes us to Liverpool, helps us to identify those in the city who are supplying the heroin. And from there, we then follow him across the country to Gloucester and to South Wales and other areas of the UK who are then receiving the drugs from the Liverpool OCG.
But there's still one key player missing.
We know from the couriers that there is a significant outlet in the Plymouth area. Regular runs are going down to the southwest, and it's our objective to identify who that individual is. From the surveillance footage, we identify a male in Plymouth, namely Nicholas Evans. And he turns out to be quite an interesting individual in his own right. He appears to lead a normal life. He's a family man. And you could walk past him in the street and would think nothing of it. And yet is one of the largest heroin suppliers in the Plymouth area, undoubtedly. We'd estimate he's probably receiving 4 to 5 kilos of heroin every 5 to 10 days. And he, as a result, becomes an important part of our inquiry.
The question now is when to strike.
It's a constant balancing act. In order to build that case, I have to allow some of those drugs to go onto the streets. I'm eager to remove these people out of the communities that they are slowly destroying. But on the other hand, I have to be confident that when I step across that line and arrest them, that I have enough evidence to put them behind bars. And it's not a decision I take lightly, because I'm well aware of the fact that I am literally playing with people's lives.
Coming up, in coordinated dawn raids across the UK, police seize drugs and bundles of cash.
They have to be prepared for whatever or whoever they find on the other side of those doors that they're going through.
And in Wolverhampton,
he was smug. He was so confident.
the hunt is on for thousands of hidden counterfeit cigarettes.
I'm there tearing my hair out thinking they're somewhere, we just didn't know where.
In South Wales, an elite task force is investigating gangs flooding the area with Class A drugs. The operation has now reached its most critical point. It's time to find out if the months of painstaking surveillance will pay off.
We've done our observations, we've collated our evidence, we think we've got enough. Now comes the point where we step across that line and start to arrest the individuals concerned.
The first target is the courier police have been watching, Raymond Lee.
This is what I need to get. Before we get to stationary traffic. Yeah, do it. Lighting him up now.
What you're seeking to do is take out individual pieces
Do you want to come round the front of us?
without bringing down the whole inquiry, almost like a game of Jenga. And choosing which piece you take out and when is the most difficult part of the inquiry.
He's pulling over. Try and get him over a bit more. Yeah, it's just stopped to the traffic. We'll do it now. Very good. Yeah.
Officers search Raymond Lee's car.
There's something in the back of the car, in a plastic bag, on the driver's seat. He stays there, yeah, just be a favour. Yeah.
Hi, Jim.
That'll do.
On the back seat, in a shopping bag, 5 kilos of heroin with a street value of around £5 million.
It just reaffirms this is supply on an enormous scale. The reality for us is that any heroin that we seize is really the tip of the iceberg. Heroin which is bought in bulk supply will inevitably be adulterated down to make larger amounts of heroin. So quite quickly that 200 or 300 kilos that we have identified will soon become 600-700 kilos on the streets.
Hey, if you just stand on there, put your feet on them feet marks, mate.
With Raymond Lee in custody, we are now under pressure and in effect on the clock. We're not quite in a position to arrest the other individuals in question, but I know that there's a risk of some of them seeking to flee the country.
Just days after Lee's arrest, the Liverpool gang boss feeding the whole supply chain, Sean Doolan, tries to skip the country.
I had a difficult decision to make. Do I allow him to leave, possibly never to be seen again, or do I arrest him at the airport and show the evidence we have earlier really than I want to?
Doolan is intercepted as he tries to board a plane.
Simply allowing him to leave the country was not an option for us. Number one priority now is arresting the other gang leaders. Those at the heads of each gang, they are in it purely for the money and nothing else.
Within the next 2 hours, they aim to arrest the heads of 7 major drugs gangs.
These will be the ones that are effectively controlling the supply, moving it around the country, and those making the most money from it. Their earning potential will run into hundreds of thousands, if not millions.
Okay, we good to go?
Yeah, good to go.
Now we're targeting addresses in Plymouth, a number in Gloucester, and South Wales.
While police get ready for the raids, DI Andy Bartholomew prepares to coordinate the action.
We get one opportunity to arrest the individuals that we need. So it has to be in a very short period of time and it has to be highly effective. You have to get it right first time. There aren't any second chances. They have to be prepared for whatever or whoever they find on the other side of those doors that they're going through. Some are extremely violent, some possess firearms and are willing to use them. Yeah.
Knock your lights off. Body cameras on now. Yeah. Police warrant! Police warrant! Front window! Railing front window! Front window!
Get down to the ground!
Front window!
Get down to the ground! Contact! Get down to the ground! Put your hands behind your back! Police with a warrant! Hands behind your back!
Sit there, see you are. Don't move now.
Team 1 finds someone in one of the target properties in Newport. But there's a problem. He's not one of the men they're after.
Many of them live a chaotic, transient lifestyle. However, there will be individuals, particularly at the heads of those gangs, who do live a more settled lifestyle.
But they have got one more shot and one more raid. And it's the biggest. The arrest team in Plymouth are going after Nicholas Evans, believed to be the local gang boss.
Nicholas Evans appears to be the normal family man. However, he is one of the main suppliers for heroin in the Plymouth and Southwest area. Intelligence would suggest that there may be a child living at the address with Nicholas Evans, and as a result, that forces us to take a different approach. But we need to get in there as quickly as possible to ensure that no one in the address destroys evidence.
Go and check the back door, see if there's a way in. Front door now, not going in, stand by, stand by.
Yeah, put like the nail and the shut the door. Now.
Stay on the front, Grimmers.
Yeah, he's opened the door, like.
Right, some people are going to come and tell you why we're here. I'll let the lads in.
They've got their man, Nicholas Evans.
Might take that and cause you injury, all right?
I'm now arresting you on suspicion of conspiracy to supply Class A drugs. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention. When questioned, something which you later line in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Yeah, so I'm just going to scrape it into the barrack.
In his house, they find quantities of drugs and large amounts of money.
We did find £20,000 in cash. That evidence is vital to us because it goes towards our argument that this man is a high-level, highly organised heroin supplier.
They are now against the clock to gather the evidence they need.
It is vital that we move quickly because things like mobile phones, money, and drugs don't generally tend to last long once the criminals are aware of our presence.
Along with the money and drugs, they also find much, much more.
Interesting.
But it's got lots of numbers and lots of names that might relate to it's like a dealer's list.
Detail is absolutely vital, and the teams will all be looking for small items of clothing that will identify individuals who we have seen on surveillance involved in exchanges. And those small items will prove seismic at court.
Hello, sir. Trading standards. We've had more complaints about your shop selling illicit tobacco. They found some.
In Wolverhampton, a raid has found illegal cigarettes hidden in a shop.
The occupant of the red car's just got in the car.
Right, get the police now. It's a red Corsa.
A car linked to the shop has driven off. It's now been spotted outside the shopkeeper's home, and the raid team are in a race to catch up with it.
We wanted to get there quickly. We wanted to search that car, see what was there. I had suspicions that they would probably be taking the cigarettes out of the premises.
They find the car, but there's nothing in the boot.
The car was clear, totally clear. I felt they were hidden somewhere else. It was just finding them. Just leave things alone. Just leave it.
That's what he can smell. It's the outer wrapper.
So that's his jacket. So he's got a packet of cigarettes in there. That'll need to be seized. Thought you said you didn't smoke. First time I'd met him, he didn't smoke. When I asked him why he'd got these cigarettes around, apparently he'd only just started smoking again. And I'm thinking, this is strange. I can't smell smoke in the house. Why have they got these cheap whites that are not meant to be in this country, all foreign?
It's something, but it's not the big haul the team's intel had suggested they would find.
He was smug. He was so confident. And I'm there tearing my hair out thinking they're somewhere, we just didn't know where.
Frustrated, the team are about to move on.
We've got cardboard boxes here.
When a police officer spots something through the keyhole of a side gate.
You got a few thousand? Lovely, nice.
About 10 grams worth in money.
Really?
Yeah.
Bingo. I counted over 43,000 single cigarettes in those boxes.
They've found what they're looking for.
The street value, if they were being sold at £4 a packet, are going to be about £8,500 worth. That is brilliant.
I think we should get him over here, Di. I think we should caution him up about this.
I'd like you to come with me, please.
This is not my... I'm never coming to here first time in my life. 4 years I here.
All right. But look at it from my point of view. Yeah. You've got a shop. We're investigating you for selling illegal cigarettes, yeah? We've had complaints about it, and now we find this next door. You tell me, how does that look to you?
I don't know how to explain for you.
You can't explain?
No.
No.
Because I didn't know anything about this, what I said to you.
Okay.
The discovery of thousands of pounds worth of counterfeit cigarettes in the alleyway is the evidence the team needs.
You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention, when questioned, something which you later rely on in court. He wasn't so cocky by then.
We have to speculate how they got there, but at this house where we executed the entry warrant, you can get to the alleyway from the back. There's two old ladies next door. It's unlikely to be them.
We went back to the shop for a final sweep.
Have you got any more anywhere else? Sure.
Is there anything else you want to tell us? No, got no more. Let's go and have a look. Oh my word. This is getting to be a good day, isn't it? It's a gift that keeps giving.
We've seen them in the oven. We've seen them in the fridge. Put under the hood, I mean, that's quite a nice touch, actually, isn't it?
Unbelievable. It shows how crafty they can be. Well done, you. Well done. Don't lose your paperwork. I advise you to seek advice from a solicitor. We're not talking about a gentleman bringing a few hundred cigarettes back from holiday anymore. We're talking about it's big time, it's now organised crime.
A large haul of illegal cigarettes taken off the streets. And a warning for anyone else involved in selling fake tobacco.
Part of this is to say to people, we will come to your house. It's so vital that they actually see it with their own eyes in the streets in which they live.
The cigarettes will be taken away, tested and destroyed.
It's nice to know that if there's something unsafe on the street and you've got it off the street, it's a boost because you made a difference somewhere.
It's a big result for the raid team.
Very good bit of work.
On 3 occasions he told us he didn't have any. On 3 occasions he was lying.
And if he didn't smoke before, he does now.
Shop owner Aram Shalihi pleaded guilty to selling counterfeit cigarettes. He was sentenced to 9 weeks in prison, suspended for 12 months.
Good boy, Scamps.
Coming up...
If you obstruct us, you could be arrested for breach of the peace.
In Liverpool, tampering with the electricity supply turns a pub into a potential death trap.
It's definitely not safe, and it's definitely illegal. and it definitely shouldn't be here.
And it's the end of the road for the drugs gangs, supplying Class A's across the southwest.
When you finally have these individuals under lock and key, there is that sense of relief, but also the realization that now the work really begins.
Energy theft cost an estimated £400 million every year. And it's up to the gas and electricity companies to stop it. They send in special enforcement teams to do the job. On shift today are Matthew Godridge and Damien Hornby.
We're out there every single day finding theft, we're finding dangerous supplies. You know, people are putting their own lives at risk, putting other lives at risk.
British Gas, come to check the electric meter, please.
There's people running businesses that want to make as much money as they possibly can if they get away with not paying their gas and electricity.
What we have there is an illegal meter. It's breaking the law.
There's been threats of violence, so you've always got to have that in the back of your mind. You've always got to be ready. You've always got to be on your A game.
Today, this team is being dispatched to a pub which had its electricity supplies cut off after running up a massive unpaid bill. But somehow, the power is still on.
Our debt department have been round. When they pulled the fuse, all the electricity stayed on. So they've reported it to us. We'll find out when we get in there. Hey mate, you all right? British Gas, mate. We just need to have a look at your electricity meter.
When they arrive, it's obvious this pub has electricity.
We have got a warrant from the court. That gives us permission to go down there. Right. So, phoning him, he's not going to make any difference. I mean, you can phone him and let him know that's what we're doing, but we do need to get down there to have a look, because we do know that there's a problem with it. Right, okay. Yeah?
First, they have to find the electricity meter.
It's down there.
Getting to it is not going to be easy.
Right, I've got British Gas here with a warrant to search my meter. Right, okay.
Tell us where the cellar is. We'll just go down and do our bit. Otherwise, we're going to have to get a locksmith in here. He's going to start picking locks. You do kind of get an instinct from the way the customers react to you being there.
Ultimately, our job is to we've got a warrant to inspect the electric meter and fittings. We need to do that now.
Right.
Can you show us where this?
I send you away to come back again?
No.
Can't do that.
Can't do that. We need to get access to
So
the.
you have to get a locksmith.
We've got a locksmith.
We've got a locksmith.
You've got one with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one way or another, we're going to be getting in there in the next sort of 10, 15 minutes. So.
We've got the police with us as well. If there's a breach of the peace,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Are they outside?
They're in.
They're in?
Yeah.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah. We need to get down there
If
now.
you just open the door,
Right.
you can ring us back there, can't you? So.
If you don't let us in,
Yeah.
we'll have to pick that door.
Yeah.
Or drill it, or whatever you have to do to get in it.
Yeah.
If you obstruct us, you could be arrested for breach of the peace. We don't want that. You seem like a decent guy. You're quite cooperative. Yeah. We don't want to fall out with you.
Not even 2 minutes since I got a call back to stay.
We need to get in there now. We need to get in there now, mate. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
The barman's done his best to stall and prevent them from gaining access until he can speak to his boss. But it's no good. This team have heard it all before.
They always do try and throw us off the scent. You know, haven't got a key, the owner's away on holiday. The reason why we're getting refused access is because they know that we know there's something wrong with it. There's nothing going through that live.
Because there's no fuses in the black fuse carriers, which therefore should mean that there's no power. It's bypassing the meter completely, and it's an illegal connection.
It's a bit messy, liking it?
A little bit there.
Electricity's not being metered at all. It's not recording the use of electricity. So basically, pub's been getting electricity for free.
illegal power supply could also be deadly.
Bare copper, exposed wire. There's a lot of risks when you're messing around with gas and electricity. The majority of people who are tampering, they don't know what they're doing. You know, there's always that risk of the supply going pop. It can cause a spark, an arc, fire. It's dangerous.
Our number one priority is safety. You know, ultimately the people who live there or work in there, but ultimately, you know, the Joe public who go in there, they don't realise that they're putting all those people in danger.
But that's not all.
We followed some cables around and we found exposed wire, which is live. This is another supply. It's definitely not safe, and it's definitely illegal, and it definitely shouldn't be here.
And there's more.
Oh, is that another supply coming in? Yeah.
A third illegal meter bypass.
It'll be reported to the police. It's a significant find. It's quite a big place. There's a lot of energy going through this place. He's not paying for it. He's made it dangerous. We have seen people get prosecuted for things like this.
Part of our job, certainly from a commercial aspect, is to report them to the police.
So you want the cut-out changing on that, that's taken out? Yeah.
The team make the electric safe and cut off the payment-free power supply.
And everything that was used to bypass the supply has been removed. We've got the meter itself, we've got all the cables, we've got the armoured cable, so there's no risk of that being illegally reconnected again.
The pub in Liverpool was disconnected from the electrical supply and given a backdated bill for more than £35,000. There was no prosecution, and the customer has since paid all monies owed. The supply has been reconnected. The drug dealers arrested during coordinated dawn raids have now been to court and convicted of conspiracy to supply Class A drugs.
All right, mate, let me know. Throw it, bye.
Amongst them, Nicholas Evans, who was arrested for supplying heroin in Plymouth. Salman Ali, the Newport dealer, caught on camera during this drug handover, was also found guilty. And Raymond Lee, the courier who led to the whole network being identified, is also now in prison. They will be behind bars for many years.
When you finally have these individuals under lock and key, there is that sense of relief, but also the realization that now the work really begins.
A successful operation for detectives, with the gang bosses under lock and key and a drugs network dismantled.
Will we rid our streets of drugs? Probably not. But can we keep it to a level where people can walk the streets safely? Yes, I believe we can. And if we've achieved that, then I've done my job.
From Essex Express to Bros and Kylie, we're getting the 1988 party started with Britain's favourite 80s songs, brand new Friday at 10. Back to tonight, and it's over to our NHS heroes working the night shift in A&E After Dark, coming up next.